Before I start this build, I want to say RIP to my brother Steven. It's been 4 years since he passed away to this day, so rest in peace, Brother Anthony in heaven. Alright, let's get to it. Hello everybody, this is me, Gene Okerlund. Welcome to the final build to bash at the Figure Beach. And my mic is not in the right spot. Where today we are going to hear from Booker T. We're going to hear from the Macho Man. We're going to hear from Bam Bam Bigelow and the rest of the Alphas. We're going to see an encounter that you never thought you would ever see ever in wrestling history. We're going to hear from Jake the Snake. And we're going to finish this thing out with a contract signing between Lex Luger and Big Van Vader for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. But first off, let's get one of the number one contenders for the U.S. Heavyweight title out here, and that is Booker T. So Booker T, last week Sid had a lot to say, even though he stumbled over his freaking promo, but he had a lot to say about you and Bam Bam Bigelow. He even called out the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. What do you got to say? Big Papa Pump also called you out as well. What do you got to say to all that, Booker T? Well, let me tell all these suckers something now. The fact of the matter is, Booker T is coming into this match looking to find a stepping stone to the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And you know what? If becoming the U.S. Heavyweight Champion is that stepping stone, then let me tell you suckers something right now. Booker T is walking out as the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Or, not WCW World Heavyweight Champion. WCW United States Heavyweight Champion. And there ain't nothing that sucker Big Papa Pump could do. There ain't nothing his little bitches, the Alphas, could do. There ain't nothing that anybody could do. There ain't nothing that Sid could do. Because Booker T is going to walk out as the United States Heavyweight Champion. And then Scott Steiner, I'm coming for your gold. Now can you dig that, sucker? Here for Booker T, he messed up by saying WCW World Heavyweight Championship at first, but he meant to say U.S. title. They gotta, we'll see how that plays out. Next up, let's hear from the Macho Man Randy Savage, which I believe he's pretty pissed off right now. We're gonna hear from him right now. So Macho Man Randy Savage, it's been a couple weeks since we heard from you because of the incident between you and Stone Cold Steve Austin at one of the builds. So, what do you feel about Mick Foley, aka Mankind, being a special guest referee for your match against Austin? And then not only that, Diamond Dallas Page, the guy you're going to fight a few days after the Wrestling Figure Show, is going to be sitting ringside at commentary. Mean Gene, let me tell you something right now, brother. The Macho Man is really pissed off because Stone Cold Steve Austin, you've been running your damn mouth ever since we started this thing, brother. And once I get a hold of you at Bash at the Figure Beach, I'm gonna kick your sorry ass. As for the other two guys, Mankind, you better call it down the middle, because if you don't, the Macho Man will kick your sorry ass. And as for Diamond Dallas Page, ooh, yeah. Page, you get involved, brother. I will kick your ass and walk out with, I'll kick your ass before the Nitro show, after the show, brother. Because the Macho Man is the baddest SOB in wrestling. Macho Man is the toughest SOB in wrestling. And not only that, I am the most macho man in wrestling. Ooh, yeah, can you dig that? So, hey, you punk-ass bitches, try to fuck with the Macho Man, and you're gonna get your asses kicked. Ooh, yeah. Yep, they fired up Macho Man. And boy, is he ready for that match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Alright, now, everybody, we are going to hear from Bam Bam Bigelow and the Alphas. So Bam Bam Bigelow, you just heard what Booker T said. You heard what Sid had to say last week. What do you got to say to both your opponents for this Friday? Well, first off, let me clear something up for that big goof, that big dumbass Sid Vicious. I'm not the bitch of Scott Steiner. The Outsiders are not the bitch of Scott Steiner. We're just a bunch of alpha dogs who's out here to kick the living hell out of everybody in WCW. It doesn't matter if it's you, Booker T, Bill Goldberg, Ric Flair, that old piece of shit Hulk Hogan. It doesn't matter. Because the fact of the matter is the alphas don't play. And at Bash at the Figure Beach, Sid, I'm taking back my United States Heavyweight title. And Booker T, I think Big Papa Pumps got a surprise for your sorry ass at the event this Friday. Because you don't mess with the alphas and you don't bash the alphas. Because we are the top dogs in this business. Tell them, Scott. Well, Big Papa Pump, you're the leader of this group. What do you got to say about those remarks from Sid, Booker T, and everything? First of all, let me get to that piece of trailer trash, Booker T. Booker T, let me tell you something right now. Big Papa Pump ain't never been afraid of your sorry ass, and every time me and you have faced off, Booker T, I've kicked your ass. And you know what, Booker? At the event, I do have a big surprise for your sorry ass. And if you manage to survive that, then I'll give you a shot at the title at Halloween Figure Havoc. But I highly doubt Booker T's gonna survive what happens to him this Friday. Now for that even bigger piece of trailer park trash, Sid Vicious. Let me tell you something now, Sid. You want to call the big bad booty daddy, the Outsiders, the beast from the east, a bunch of bitches? Well, I'll tell you what. This Friday, you're gonna find out who the bitches really are. Because once we beat the living hell out of you, we're gonna walk out having all the gold. Because, and I'll let the Outsiders explain that in a minute. Because I'm gonna be WCW Heavyweight Champion, Bam Bam's gonna be US Champ, and you're gonna find out from the Outsiders what's gonna go down there. Alright, everybody, so let's hear from the Outsiders. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. So, Hall, what's going on? I know what's going on. We heard from the Championship Committee. So, on the pre-show of this Friday's Bash at the Figure Beach, the Outsiders will challenge Chronic for their WCW World Tag Team title. So, what you got to say about that? Hey, yo, the big man just fell over. But let me tell you something now, Chronic. Me, see, let's pick him up. Hey, yo, let me tell you something, Chronic. At the pre-show of Bash at the Figure Beach, the Outsiders are coming in hot, and we are coming in to take those WCW World Tag Team Championships from you chumps, because I'm medium sexy and he's big sexy, and Chronic, we're gonna kick your asses and carve you up and walk out the new WCW World Tag Team Champion. And after we do that, then our boy here, Bam Bam Bigelow, is walking out with that US Heavyweight Championship. And then we got our leader, Big Papa Pump, as the World Champion. You know why? Because the Alphas are just too sweet! Alright, Nash, you got anything to add? The only thing I got to say is, Chronic, you two chumps, Adams and Clark, you think you're the best tag team in wrestling today? Well, you're dead wrong. Because at the Bash at the Figure Beach pre-show, we're going to show you why we are the best tag team in the world when we walk out as the new WCW World Tag Team Champions. Because just like Scott Hall said, big sexy, medium sexy, and we're going to be beating the living hell out of the two Bryans, because we are just too sweet. Arf. So, very fired up Alphas. They're getting ready to head out of here. So they're saying they're going to have all the gold after Friday, which is crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is a match you will see, or might see, at Halloween Figure Havoc this year. First, let's hear from the WWF Heavyweight Champion, Yokozuna. So Yokozuna, you just won that title back from Bret Hart. What do you got to say? All I got to say is, you're going to feel the banzai. Whoever wants this belt, they're gonna have to come and take it. Because Yokozuna is unstoppable. That's why I'm the WWF Heavyweight Champion. Oh. You are the WWF Heavyweight Champion, that's for sure. But we got somebody here that has to say, hey, JR, what are you doing here? Well, I gotta translate for this guy, so bring him on out. The WCW International World Heavyweight Champion, the Great Muta. And he's out here for one reason only, and you're about to find out. Well, he's face to face with Yokozuna. So what's going on here, JR? Well, you know, I worked in Japan for a while so I could translate things, but Great Muta is out here because he wants to challenge Yokozuna in a title for title match. Oh, really? Yeah. So why does he want to face him in a title for title match? Because Great Muta told me he's sick and tired of Yokozuna being a Samoan guy acting like he's Japanese. So he's challenging Yokozuna title for title at Halloween Figure Havoc, which will be the next big Mr. Hornsby 3 show wrestling figure event. So Yokozuna, you just got challenged by, I got my job done. You just got challenged by the Great Muda for a title match. What do you got to say? Great Muda. You want a shot at me? You got it. Title for title. What a big blockbuster news announcement for the Wrestling Figure Show, and this is probably going to be the main event of Halloween Figure Havoc. We'll find out and see when we get to the build to that. But Yokozuna against the Great Muda. Title for title. WCW International title and the WWF Heavyweight title. What a crazy match that's going to be. Alright, speaking of which, here's the number one contender for another WWF Heavyweight Champion. And that's Jake the Snake Roberts. So Jake the Snake, you heard what Hulk Hogan had to say last week. He still believes the power of the Hulksters is going to carry him through to beat you at Bash at the Figure Beach this Friday. So what do you got to say about that? Hulk Hogan, let me tell you something right now. You think your little crybaby Hulkamaniacs are gonna save you from the beating I'm gonna give you at Bash at the Figure Beach? Well, you know what? You're dead wrong. Because Hogan, I'm coming, and I'm coming for one reason only, and that is to inject you with venom and walk out WWF Heavyweight Champion. And I will nail you, Hogan, with the DDT. And that's all I got to say. Short and sweet by Jake the Snake. Let's get this table out here for this big contract signing, and then we'll end the video. Table's ready. Contract's in the middle of the table. The contenders will be out in a second. Introducing first the challenger from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 200 and now a 64 pounds. The total package Lex Luger. Lex Luger's going to be the one that signed the contract. And his opponent from the Rocky Mountains, weighing in at 450 pounds. He is the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. The man, Big Van Vader. So Luger, you're the challenger. You signed the contract first. Luger's got the contract. And he signed it. Luger, what do you got to say to the champion before he signs the contract? Is there anything you'd like to say to him? Why, yes, there is something I'd like to say to him. Mean Gene Okerlund. Big Van Vader, let me tell you something right now. When we face off this Friday in the main event of this show, I am going to beat you for that WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And you know how I'm going to beat you? I'm going to put you in the torture rack. Now that's all I got to say, because after you sign this contract, I am going to go work out. Alright, Vader, your turn to sign the contract. And Vader signs it. Now he's pushing the table out of the way, and he's in the face of his challenger. So Vader, what do you got to say to Lex Luger? Luger! You think you're gonna beat me, and you think you're gonna walk out with my WCW World Heavyweight Championship, well, you're dead wrong. And if you think you got the strength to put me in the torture rack, you're dead wrong there too. Because once I get my hands on you, you won't even have time to think about the torture rack. Because I'm going to beat the living hell out of you. And I'm going to walk out still the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. You want to know why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's Vader time. And Luger, your time is not now. Boy, very fired up Vader. That'll do it. Don't forget to tune in this Friday for Bash at the Figure Beach. See you guys Friday. Well, tomorrow got another X-Men 97 review, episode 4, and then after that, won't be doing no more X-Men 97 reviews until they have the season finale of this season. So, unless something big happens in one of the episodes after episode 4. But anyway, that'll do it. Don't forget to check out my problems with Dragon Ball Super video I did yesterday as well. You can also watch my review of X-Men 97 Season 2 I did last Wednesday. Well, anyway, that'll do it. Catch you guys later. Peace out.